Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to discuss and have a talk with one of our students, an alumni of MSM English School. And there are some students who make the school very proud, and Piyush Tayde is surely one of them. So welcome, Piyush. Uh, I would like to hear a little bit about your early school and then how you went ahead and pass this examination of sub-lieutenant in Navy. So please share your journey with us.
Okay, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. So, starting from my earlier education, so as my father was serving in border security force, so initially my earlier schooling was done at various places. I completed my first standard at Bikaner, and after that I had changed my school to Siliguri, and there I completed my second and third standard. And from fourth standard onwards, I have studied at MSM English School. Till my 12th standard, I was in the same school. So it was a very long journey, and I'm really grateful about all the teaching that are provided by all the teachers, and they have really played an important role in building my character and the person that I am today. So after 12th standard, I appeared for various entrance exams, be it like NDA, JEE mains. So NDA was my first choice, as uh, in 8th and 9th standard, our PT teacher, Inspector Thatar sir, he motivated all of us to take participation in the Scout and Guide March Parade. So from there onwards, it really makes me like motivating to be the part of such unit where the discipline and all such things have been conducted. So I discussed with my father about how we can join these armed forces and other things. So from 11th and 12th standard onwards, only I have started preparing for the exams. But unfortunately, in my 12th standard, I could not clear the ND exam in my first attempt, second attempt. So as I have cleared the JEE mains and the Maharashtra state entrance test, so instead of taking a drop, my father and my teacher suggested me to go for engineering, as after engineering there are many opportunities to be part of the armed forces. So after 12th standard, I went to Nanded, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Institute of Engineering and Technology in Electronics and Telecommunication. I completed my BTech course there from 2016 to 2020. And again, I applied for the CDSE exam, that is for after graduation entry, and also applied for FCAT exam for being a pilot in Indian Air Force, and also applied for Indian Navy. So simultaneously applied for all, but unfortunately in this attempt as well I could not clear that. And so in during my engineering, my father also suggested me that I should have a backup if something not work out. So I must have a backup. So I also prepared for GATE examination. GATE examination is basically useful to get admission for your post graduation into IITs and NITs. So I cleared that exam, and in my first attempt, I got admitted into IIT Roorkee in electronics and communication. But my inner me never was satisfied, because my dream was to be part of the Indian Armed Forces. So simultaneously, I was applying for all these entries. So in my seventh attempt of Service Selection Board, I cleared the interview as well as got medically fit. Now I'm waiting for my joining letter, and yeah, that's also.
So tell me something, when was the first time that you thought that I want to make, defense as a career, or I want to serve a country?
Sorry, ninth standard.
Ninth standard. So how it happened? Is there a story behind it?
Yes, sir. First of all, there was an advertisement in the newspaper, like they want a young, bright, intelligent young officers in Indian Navy. And as I mentioned, Scout and Guide was one of the motivator for me. Like I used to watch the 26th Jan Republic Day parade, and I understood that these are the regiments or these are the forces that India have. So yeah, and background of my father as well, one of the reason.
Your father was in border security force, right?
Yes, sir.
Was another reason, and then you took part in this Republic Day parade, right? And then that struck you that probably I want to do this for the entire life.
Yes, sir.
Great. So, when you were doing your BTech or when you're doing your PhD in IIT, did you ever think that, after clearing this, I can get a very lucrative job, I can earn, in lakhs and crores, then defense, leaving that, why you thought of choosing defense, not a very profitable career?
Yes, sir. In my opinion, after to quote the real situation, after BTech, I got placement in Excel technology, but
Mhm.
there was a bond. So I understood that if I go for this job, though the salary was good, but going to that job, I could not have appeared for the service selection board or attempt any other exams. So I instead choose to be part of academics, like I choose PhD course. And
Mhm.
as you have correctly mentioned that the salary after completing this course will be very high, but though there are many IITs, there are only one Indian level academy, and to get admitted into that, you can't pay fees or get directly into that. You have to go through this rigorous process. And
Mhm.
other than that, the life experiences that I will get in Indian Navy won't stand in front of like a high pay salary. And consider the ships or the submarines, they are like in crores. I won't get any chance to be part of that unit in corporate world.
True. But if I talk about indicators for a successful career, what do you have in your mind that these are the parameters for a person to be called as successful? For example, let's say some look at money, some look at the convenience, some look at patriotism. So, what are the key factors for you, and what, according to you, is a successful career?
So according to me, the person should be never be satisfied, and it should not dream small. Like being whatever we dream, it's our dream. And a person would be successful once he have uh, fulfilled his dream and he is of a service providing to his nation. So be it a school teacher or be it a doctor, be it an engineer, they all are providing service to our nation. So it is a successful, but some consider as a money, but indirectly consider the case of Ratan Tata sir. Though he is earning so much, he has done many things for his nation. So like the key parameters would be we should have a good aim in our life, and we should be thinking about it until and unless we have achieved it.
So, do you think no, you have completed your PhD already, or are you not going to do it anymore?
No, sir, I have not completed. I am currently in second year of my PhD. I am going to
But
drop.
will you complete? Will you get the chance to complete it?
So after completion of my service or during my
So,
service,
is it going to be a short service commission, SSC?
yes, sir, it's a short service commission.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, you are planning to complete your PhD after you complete your short service commission.
Yes, sir. Other than that, there is an also sponsored by Indian Navy. They sponsored the bright candidates to complete their masters or MBA,
All
whatever they
right.
have wished for. Yeah, during the service itself.
Okay, great. Now, many of our students do not choose defense as a career. Only a very few go in that direction. People are busy becoming doctors and engineers or chartered accountants. So you said you wanted to be in defense from grade 9. So, you must have got exposed. Definitely, a family background is one of the things. But what do you suggest to other students who do not know about defense, but how they can explore it, like, that to check it out at least? So, do you suggest them to go to an institution or watch certain movies or what?
So, being from that background I have gone through, won't suggest that they have to go anywhere. The school is the best place, and in school, the library is the best place. So, first, I get also motivated by reading all the novels, and thanks to our librarian sir, he used to permit me to take one or two books. And in every week, I used to read the books, and developing this habit will ultimately help them to read more about the defense services and as well as the things or the valor that they have performed in the history. So be like recently Vikram Batra sir, based on movie The Sher Shah came, though it has motivated, and earlier also there was a movie called Laksh. after watching Laksh, I can't count how many individuals have joined Indian Army. So all
Mhm.
these things are motivating for each and every individual. And coming towards the personal choice, we can't force anybody to choose this profession or that profession. It's our
Right.
personal choice, and the individual should go where it makes him happy.
But what happens, the children are actually not aware of this also. They have seen that as a profession, but they don't give it a second thought because, all these companies like IIT, JE preparation companies, they advertise so much that is in the forebrain, I would say. So, do you think, man, defense services or the preparatory organizations who prepare students for defense services, they need to advertise more or they need to reach out students more, just like these companies are doing for NEET, JE? People only talk about these things. So, what do you think can make that transformation happen? Like, children, instead of thinking of engineering, start thinking of defense. Is it because of advertisement or parents do not motivate or they do not see enough people around them? What do you think is the reason?
In my opinion, I do think that they do not see around them very well. Like if the other student is going for preparation of JEE mains, the parents will also suggest him that you should go. Or if there is any elder brother or elder sister who have done CA or being in medical background, they will suggest him to go for medical. But I have seen my friends whose parents are having a medical degree, and still the child is doing engineering. But these things is all about personal choice. And coming towards the motivation for the children, like conducting the small talks or like Zoom meeting like this with an retired army personnel to motivate them could also help and guide them. And I do think that individuals are not aware about the selection process or how to get into it. So like most of the time we know JEE mains IIT hai, there would be a great package. Like these things
Hmm.
are imbibed from the childhood or seeing the examples of others. And like in advertisement, they won't advertise much about the person being selected in Indian Navy or Indian Army, whether because
Absolutely.
of security reasons as well. But yeah, student can develop interest, and now everything is on fingertips. They can just search, like all everything is going on phone and internet medium. They can search,
Right.
and yeah.
One more thing, I was very happy to hear that you have tried it 7 times to crack that exam, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
people give up early, first time not done, fine, second time, third time to the max. So what kept you motivated that you tried it for 7 times before you crack the exam? क्या था वो पीछे में जुनून क्या था कि 7 बार कोशिश करने का जो you got that motivation to try 7 different times? क्या लग रहा है? What was the reason behind that?
Sir, I do think that though I used to get the call letter, I would have regretted not attending the interview instead of getting not selected.
Hmm.
So अगर मैं जाता ही नहीं था तो there was
Hmm.
not an choice that not an option that I would have get selected. I should at least try
Right.
once. So first attempt, after 12th I went, after 12th again I went, after graduation I went. Then initially my aim was to be a pilot, but just because of 3 to 4 months of age difference, I lost my eligibility after that. And though being in IIT as well, my mother used to told me that now you are in IIT, don't think about defense services, just focus on your study. But no, it was my last second attempt. After that, I had left only one attempt. So I thought,
As per the age criterion बीच में आया है
yes,
ना?
as per age
Right.
criteria, I thought I should give a try. Whatever happens, will be rest of the things. Like.
But once you're failing, when you're not able to crack it, it's a failure that people look at it. So, how you dealt with it, the failures that you met with, हुआ नहीं, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, यहाँ तक तो लोग छोड़ देते हैं हाल. So how you tackled that mindset? What was that mindset? वो पूछना चाहता हूँ मैं.
Yes, yes, sir. Initially, first attempt, I went to Coimbatore. 3 days it took to reach Coimbatore. First day, there are stages in the selection process of the interview. On
Mm-hmm.
first day itself, I was disqualified from the selection process. I returned to my home. I was almost in train for 1 week. So after
Okay.
that, I was. It's obvious to feel sad, and instead of I, I refer the motivating books like self-help books. You Can Win by Shiv Khera and other by the Robin Sharma sir. All reading books always motivated me, and in second attempt as well, same thing. Third attempt, fourth attempt. So then I decided to take coaching. So I went to Nagpur, and during this thing happened in 2021, last year only. So being in IIT, I paid my own coaching fees of 20,000. For 15 days I went. I consulted with the all the expertise in that area and asked them where I was lacking. So it's always like think about what you are doing mistake, what mistake you are doing, and where the areas where you can improve, and try to give your well in the correct time.
So this
So,
examination is what examination you're talking about? What is the name of that exam?
so the exam that I have cleared is INET, and after that, there's
INET.
service selection board interviews there, 5 days.
Right. Can you just very briefly describe the no the exam process or the selection process? And when you're talking about the skill sets that you lacked, तो ऐसा क्या था जो 6 साल में नहीं हुआ था? And what are the skill sets that you developed inside you that it helped you to crack that exam? क्या था वो? Papers कैसे होते हैं? A brief idea about that.
So starting about the stage one, that is the written exam. So written exam was never a problem for me. As in 10th standard, I scored 10 CGPA. After 12th, also 90%, and in engineering,
Mhm.
8.8 CGPA. So studying was never a problem for me. So I could have cleared exam every time. But during the interviews,
What
SSB
were the
interview.
papers like? Written paper क्या क्या था उसमें? What were the papers?
Okay, in 12th standard, after for starting with the NDA exam, there are
Mhm.
paper one and paper two. In
Right.
paper one, they will ask everything about mathematics.
Mhm.
Syllabus is same as that for JEE mains.
All right.
And in paper two, English and general studies are included. In
All
general
right.
studies, everything is like science, history, geography, economics, like basic they will touch, and it's 600 900 marks paper for NDA.
So 450, 450, 450 for maths, 450 for English and general studies, right?
It's not equally divided. I
Then,
guess it's 600 for general studies and 300 for mathematics,
all
like
right.
that.
Okay, fine.
And after clearing, whoever clears this written exam, they have to appear for SSB interview, that is of 5 days. To become an officer via through any entries, an individual has to appear for SSB interview.
Okay.
So in 12th, I couldn't clear the written. After graduation, I appeared for CDSE exam. Same thing happened. Uh, this I was
CDS,
prepared.
exam paid for the Combined Defense Services.
Yes,
C-
I also applied for that.
okay, fine.
In CDSC, there are three sections. First is
Mhm.
English
Mhm.
for 200 marks, then
Okay.
mathematics for 200, then
Mhm.
general studies for 200, like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But after clearing this written exam, again we have
Mhm.
to appear for the service selection board.
Right.
So in parallel, I was giving multiple exams. So being from engineering background, my general studies was not that well. So English and mathematics was very well. So
Mhm.
parallelly, I was preparing for graduate aptitude test of engineering. In that GATE exam, all 4 years of engineering syllabus is there. So I
Right.
was prepared well for that exam. That's why I cleared IIT. But
Mhm.
back of the mind, I was like, ye bhi karna hai. So I kept the backup.
Mhm.
So coming towards the interviews around for 5 days. It's scheduled for 5 days. So on day one, almost 150 to 200 candidate report at the SSB center. So in India, there are various SSB center. For Navy, it is at Bhopal, Vishakhapatnam, Kolkata, Coimbatore, Bangalore, and similarly, there are different for Air Force and Indian Army. So in my first attempt, I was at Coimbatore. Second attempt, I was at Allahabad. Third attempt at Gandhinagar. And fourth attempt, Bangalore. Fifth attempt, Kolkata. Sixth attempt, Bhopal. And seventh attempt,
Okay.
Vishakhapatnam. So attending this interview gave me experience about traveling. An individual learns when he travels, like more.
Mhm. True.
So in the starting phase, my father used to come with me in first and second attempt. From third attempt onward, I was on my own. So I used to make various friends. So currently, I do have one friend in almost all states of India.
Okay.
So
Good.
I so coming over towards the experience at Vishakhapatnam. So almost
Mhm.
150 to 200 candidate reported. So
Mhm.
on day one, there is screening test. Means this screening test is basically a filter test to filter out almost 80% candidates.
All right.
So during screening, the first test is OR test. They will conduct an basic aptitude test. You have to solve some aptitude question within 30 minutes. that are very easy to solve at an engineering level.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, there is a picture perception description test. So basically, they will project a image for 30 seconds, and as an group, we have to sit in the classroom and watch that image for 30 seconds, and we have to write a story. What led to that picture, what is happening in the picture, and what will happen in the picture. So basically, the purpose of conducting this test is to
Does the
see.
communication?
So first of all, we have to write.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we have to write the story on the paper, and this, by writing this thing, the assessors test how we think. Whether after just seeing an image, some used to write negative stories, like it tests
Mm-hmm.
how our mentality is.
Right.
And after that, the whole group, whole class is divided into 14 or 10 student group, and they are made to sit in front of three assessors. So each and every individual has to narrate his individual story. So during narration, those we are having fear about speaking in front of, they will slutter, or they could not tell their story properly. So they are the ones who get eliminated. And other than that, once we have narrated our story properly, they will ask us to discuss whose theme is better and how you can make a common story among you. So during discussion, everyone will start to talk at the same time. There will be a fish market.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, I was having problem to take participate in this fish market. How to put my point. So that's the only thing I learned at Nagpur, and other guidance also was given by the commander Anki Natarajan sir. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, in group discussion, we have to listen to others and put our points within the pause, and it should be very well that it should contribute some values to the discussion. So almost from 150 to 200 reported, 14 were screened in on the first day. Rest of them were taken back to the railway station. So 14 students stayed for the remaining 4 days.
All right.
And in the remaining 4 days, there are psychological tests, ground test, one personal interview, and conference. And after conference, results were announced, and
So,
only
what is a
after.
psychological test like? So, what type of test is a psychological test like?
Sir, in psychology test, as initially they have given a small test of one image. In
Mm-hmm.
during the psychology test, like on day two, psychological test is conducted, and
Mm-hmm.
during the psychologist test, they will project 12 images in a sequence. Like for 30 seconds, one image. Then we have to write story within 4 minutes. Then a bell will be struck, and next 30 second, one image will be like this. Continue for 12 images.
So, these images are these, like Rorschach's ink blot images, or is it a picture, clear picture?
No, sir, it's like animated, like droid on with paper pencil.
It's
Like
a
they,
clear picture, right? Like, have you seen
yes,
the
sir.
Rorschach's image? It's an abstract thing. One person will think it's an insect, the other may think it's a flower,
No, sir, no, sir. It's a very
like
clear
that.
image. Like, for
Okay.
example, I will tell you that, like, if a person is standing near a bus stand, like a
Mm-hmm.
child is sitting with a book in his hand, like how
Right.
you will think and how you will plot. You're taking a small problem or considering your life experiences. How will you we will write the story
Okay.
on that? Yeah,
Fine.
this is one of the tests in the psychological test. After that,
Mm-hmm.
word association test. Like for 15 seconds, one word will be projected, like anger, beat school. You have to write a sentence within that 15 seconds. You have to see the word and write the sentence in that 15 seconds, and like this 60 words appear. So it's bit of hectic. You have to think fast and write whatever. You can't bluff, like you can't quote your personality. They want to see how you
Right.
think actually.
Mm-hmm.
And in the third test in that is situation reaction test. Like they will give a situation, you are going to a job interview, you lost your file, you, and the blank will be there. Like this, 60 situation will be given for 30 minutes.
All right.
Like, and the psychology test will be concluded like this. And those who are having interview on that day, after 12, the interviews will be conducted for those and remaining other on other day.
Mm-hmm.
And coming toward the day three, it's a ground task day one. And there are various activities like group discussion, group planning exercise, lecturette. In lecturette, they gives one small cheat. In three topics will be given, be it India-China relation or like crimes in India. Like you have to think, prepare your speech within 30 minutes, and you have to deliver a speech for 3 minutes.
All right.
So
Extempo.
extempo type. So basically, while in MSM English school, I do participate in debate competition, be it extempo. So I do think this all things like help in the future in my life.
So you believe that learning communication skills is a very important thing to get a job, right? Because you're talking about words and make sentences with that picture story. Here, not only the thought process, but how you express your thought process is equally important. So, have you taken any communication training separately, or you went ahead with whatever you learned in school?
So I went with whatever I have learned in school.
Okay, okay. Now, did you face any difficulty competing with candidates coming from bigger cities like Mumbai or Calcutta or Bangalore? Did you ever feel like I am a step behind them, or you felt I am at par with them? What did you
So
feel?
there is not such a competition because those candidates coming from bigger cities, there's not like any competition. They all are equal, and those candidates who are having military background or those coming from scenic schools or RIMC, they
Mhm.
know the process
Right.
very well than us, and they have been taught the same thing like for the 7th standard, 8th standard, like up to 12th, they are taught about the same thing about joining the defense forces only. So they are very well aware about the process, and as such competition in SSB, we have to be cooperative in the group because more than one candidate can also be selected. So if you perform well and as a person you are very good, they want just an average person who can speak well, think well, or lead the men properly. That's all.
Mhm. All right. So, in the schooling process, what things you think that is not a part of the curriculum should be included in the curriculum so that children can, fare better in tests like this? What are the things you think in a school they should start doing, which is not happening now?
Currently, I'm not sure about the things that are happening now, but in our time, the reading books was not as such compulsory activity. But
Mhm.
I was having good relation with the librarian earlier. So I
Right.
used to read book as much as possible. So reading
So
basically
one is
develop.
reading more number of books.
Yeah.
Fine.
So basically, we can conduct an activity like in a week, group of individuals just summarize what's in a book, so others can
Right.
also know. So reading develops the imagination
And I'm not
and
talking about only, one single school. I'm talking about a general thing. Schools normally do this. They follow, a particular curriculum, few books. They have post-scholastic activities. It's over. So, among the activities that the school is doing, any school be it, what are the things you think is not happening in Indian schools now? And that is the reason there's a gap between, when you cross the school and you're opting for a job, then you find that this thing, kash ye school mein hua hota. So is there something like that you felt? For example, interview training, soft skill training, something like that. Any other thing that you can think of?
like in school rather I do think the other candidates that used to come, they used to lack communication skill,
All
but
right.
but in our school I didn't feel like any because
Feel like
of
anything.
uh, in our school various competitions like group discussion and extempo, all these things really helped in the initial stage. And other than that, things that should be included like in interview they will ask if you are being given a situation like you have to organize a competition or organize a sports event, how will you organize? So these
Right.
things you can't bluff if and until and unless you are being part of that situation in your school.
Mhm.
So while I was in ninth standard, I was part of the science exhibition that was conducted taluka level. So all these things helped me to put the example in front of the interviewing officer at there.
Mhm.
So as such a soft skill, like a student in ninth standard, 10th standard, they won't understand its importance at that stage.
Right.
Yeah.
And one more thing you said, that the Sainik school prepared the students pretty well. So, what are the things that Sainik school does differently? Have you found it out? What?
Yes, the student at the scenic school, they are very well aware about the selection process. They know the test and what they're expecting. So in my starting attempt, like in up to coming toward the fifth and sixth attempt, I understood what they're really expecting from a candidate, like what they're seeing in us, that on what basis they're judging us. So the scenic school student know that very well, And also at Scenic School, the sports is compulsory. Like in compared to other private schools, it's not
Mhm.
compulsory until unless a child is interested. So they make them
Now they
play.
have made it compulsory. CBSE has made it compulsory now. Every
Yes,
week, 2 sports periods are mandatory.
yes, sir.
So that
So
was not there in your time.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Still we used to play, and other than that, they are aware about the, like, if you're individually playing a sport, he should know about the terms related to that sport and the famous players, and all this basic inquisitiveness should be there in an individual. Like all that
Mhm.
was present in that Scenic School candidate.
All right. Now, no, we have come towards the end, but I would like to ask you one more thing. What are the value systems that you developed in school? What are the values you think you school helped you to imbibe from that, early age that helped you in over the years?
So initially, when during our schooling, there was one book, small moral education, value education. One subject was there. I really used to
Mhm.
like that book. So there was stories that I used to read, and coming towards the values that are imbibed by the teacher. So considering the example, like in 8th standard, I fractured my hand. Like all the faculty members were so helpful. They used to give me 30 minutes extra, and they used to help me put up lines, though I write the paper on my own. And
Mhm.
other than that, consider the contribution of Chauri Miss. She was my mentor during my 11th and 12th. I consider her as my mentor because I
Mhm.
stayed in Malkapur itself, and other all my friends went for coaching, be it at Kota and other places.
Right.
And other than that, uh, thanks to science teacher, mathematics teacher, like in mathematics, Mahajan sir was there. He used to make us tell the table in reverse order. Like it used to make our brain work very well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, and thanks to Bode sir, Ravindra Patil sir, means they used to teach the subject in such a way that it made interesting. Because this science and mathematics subject, this what we learn in 9th and 10th standard, the same things are applied during the competitive exams. Nothing is new
Right.
if you have studied well in during this time. So other than that, all the cultural activities that are being conducted, and also thank you to Ajay Ingles sir, Atul Patil sir, for improving, and David Miss for helping during my English classes.
Mhm. So, did you ever come back after you left the school in 2016? Did you come back and check how the school is now?
No, sir.
I would
Uh,
advise that before you leave Malkapur, pay a visit. Maybe today is the last day, right?
no, sir. I am here only for 1 week. I'm going to Mumbai. After that, for 2 months, I'm here only.
Okay, so when you come back, I would strongly recommend you come back and see the school once. So
Sure, sir.
it has evolved a lot. And just before I let you go, anything that you would like to advise, the children of today, the students, those who are watching this interview?
So I would like to advise them, like, dream big. Like don't think that it's not achievable. Like you want to be an astronaut, keep that dream within you, and you will just search about how you can become astronaut, how you can, which courses you have to take, like where you have to apply, where you have to do internship, like all these things a student should be aware about. And at this modern times, the technology, mobile phone is there with everyone. Just we have to just think, like, don't take your decision very early, and take your advice from your parents, and do what you want to do, but still choose the right path. And there is no such shortcut for anything. And yeah, never give up.
Never give up. Absolutely. Dream big and never give up. And you have
Yes,
a real example of try till you succeed, right? So
yes, sir.
you have showed it with your life that if you keep trying, even if you have failed in the fifth, sixth attempt, the seventh attempt can bring you big results. And
Yes, sir.
one more thing, जो लोग अंग्रेजी नहीं समझते हैं, पीयूष ने एक बात का जिक्र किया, द मॉरल साइंस स्टोरीज मोटिवेटेड हिम. बहुत पेरेंट्स जब किताब खरीदने जाते हैं, मॉरल साइंस का बुक खरीदते नहीं है. जाने दो, साइंस ले लो, मैथ्स ले लो, मॉरल साइंस नहीं चाहिए. सो आप खुद सुन सकते हो कि एक लड़के जिन्होंने क्रैक किया एक एग्जाम, सब लेफ्टिनेंट बनने जा रहा है, तो उनके लिए भी एक मॉरल साइंस का जो किताब है उसमें स्टोरीज है, बट वो मोटिवेशन का काम किया. सो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड reading of books, Piyush mentioned in particular. Abhi library mein we have more than 8,000 books. and if children want, they can borrow the books. तो मैं एडवाइस करूंगा जो बच्चे बुक्स पढ़ने के लिए इंटरेस्टेड है वो रेस्पॉन्सिबल बुक को बोरो करे और सही कंडीशन में वापस करे ताकि उसको नेक्स्ट टाइम फिर दिया जाए. पीपल हु लव बुक्स दे कैन बी इवन 3 बुक्स ऑल्सो. पीयूष ने बताया अभी कि मैं 2 बुक लेके जाता था लाइब्रेरी से बात करके, तो आप 2 क्यों 3 लेके जाओ, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन उसको सही तरीके से पढ़ के वापस करो, ना कि उसमें ना रोटी सब्जी गिराओ और फिर कोई दूसरा किताब ना पढ़ पाए. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. So Piyush, we are very, very proud of you, and I hope that one day once you have donned the uniform, we would call you in our annual gathering post COVID. तो अगर हो सके जरूर विजिट करो और जाने से पहले स्कूल को जरूर देख के जाओ एक बार. You can meet teachers and you will love the campus. A lot of development has happened. The new building was already there, but if you see the landscaping, it has changed. So once you pay a visit, so all the best for your future, and wherever you are, all our good wishes will be there with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to visit the campus and interact with the students as well as teacher and also parents if you'd like to. And thank you very much for your time, sir. It was great talking to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
So viewers, you just met Piyush Tayde, going to become a sub-lieutenant in Navy, and his efforts continuously trying to become what he wants to be, chasing his dream, never giving up, doing what it requires, has fetched him the results. And he has made not only his parents, his school, but the entire district proud of him. Giving up his job, lucrative job of corporates, which he could have easily got. IIT complete कर रहा था, वो PhD कर रहा था IIT से, बड़ा जॉब मिल सकता था, लेकिन उसको ना देखते हुए वो नेशन को सर्व करने के लिए चुना. शायद उनका घर का जो बैकग्राउंड है, फादर डिफेंस में थे, बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी फोर्स में थे वो, तो ये एक फैक्टर रहा होगा. लेकिन उन्होंने ये भी जिक्र किया कि स्पोर्ट्स टीचर ने भी उनको मोटिवेट किया, रिपब्लिक डे पैरेड ने मोटिवेट किया, वैल्यू एजुकेशन बुक ने मोटिवेट किया. तो ये सारे चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, आपने सुना होगा इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस में कम्युनिकेशन का वैल्यू क्या है. Speaking well, interpreting a picture stories, making sentences with words. So all these things are very, very important. We will continue doing these activities in school in a more intensified way. And I'm pretty sure in the days to come, we will get more number of Piyush Taydes from our school. So thank you, and keep watching my channel for more programs like this, where you get to know a lot of things. And do not forget to subscribe my channel and click on the subscription button and then the bell icon, where you will get the updates from time to time. So namaste, have a good day. If you have any comments, you can share it in the comment box. Bye-bye.